You're good. Okay, so it's 6:49. I'll call this regular select board meeting to order. Additions and deletions to the agenda. I feel like I had some other business, but I don't now remember what it was. Lost my train of thought. Looking back through emails just real quick, sorry. I think the only thing I had was John's here to talk about the ambulance, but I just wanted during that discussion to just touch on the generator thing, if there's any updates or whatever we have for that, but not really. Okay, all right, that was the only thing I had.
Is it not working again?
Hearing no other, we can talk about it briefly. Hearing no other changes, we'll move to public comment. So public comment is the beginning of the meeting here where we can open the floor up. For anyone who's got something that's not already on the agenda for this evening, do we have any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to subdivision regulations discussion. So we just had our hearing. I'm gonna go get two people following. I don't know if you want to participate or you're done. So we just had our hearing. I think it was some good discussion. I guess what I would like to propose to you all is that we send that specific section, which is 4.01A to A, to Jim Barlow, town attorney, and ask him his thoughts about replacing that word "or" in that sentence with "and," striking double I, and then adding Woody's suggested triple I, which would then become
No, we're leaving the double line.
the 50-foot.
The second 50-foot mention in the language, but we're leaving all
I
the
keep
I.
losing my thing here. Literally had it open. Oh my god.
Where did I put it? Yeah, right here.
Oops. Zero. Sorry, the single I.
Very difficult.
Oh my
Hold
God.
on, hold on.
This right here, the or needs to go. Okay,
What about that one?
that one did go. That one's in hand now.
Oh, sorry. Looks like it's still an or here, unless it's changed on the other one.
It's not changing the red line version one, correct? Yeah,
Correct.
all right, okay, just making sure. I didn't see it through either. We're talking about
Hold on,
this one.
the worst. Okay. I know that's still really small for people, but. So. The question is this or right here,
Mhm. And A,
existing landlocked parcels, no, A2. So this one,
mhm.
Line
so
28.
existing,
Okay.
yep, sorry, there are land numbers there in line 21. Existing landlocked parcels therefore cannot be subdivided without approval in construction of a private road. And then it says, or now. And evidence of a legal permanent easement. And then the second or that he recommended
Yeah, right
was
here,
an A in line
25.
29
29, okay.
on the red line version. Existing and proposed lots without frontage shall not be developed or allowed without an approved permanent easement or right of way at least 50 feet wide and the construction of a private road with a right of way.
Right, so this is a second with a right of way at least 50 feet wide, so I don't think it needs to be.
The first I,
No, we're talking about the and in A. And then it says twice with a right of way at least 50 feet. It says it before the present or and after. I don't think it needs to be in there both times.
It's already been
This or,
out.
well, I don't know if this is, who's the pencil, is this yours or
Yeah.
Woody's?
And it's like, when you
With-
read it out loud,
Private road.
go ahead, read it out loud so we can get, because it's,
okay, so right now, the way that it reads is existing and proposed lots without frontage shall not be developed or allowed without an approved permanent easement or right of way at least 50 feet wide. Presently, the word is or the construction of a private road with a right of way at least 50 feet wide that meets all standards for access and does not have any characteristics which would prevent the construction of a private road. And
Yeah.
we're suggesting to change that or so that it would read existing and proposed lots without frontage shall not be developed or allowed without an approved permanent easement or right of way at least 50 feet wide and the construction of a private road.
So, okay, I know what you're saying now. So in the paragraph A, it says at least 50 feet wide. And then right below it on line, I'm looking at the red line version.
Yeah,
On line 31, I says the right of way is at least 50 feet wide.
correct,
So it does say 50 feet twice.
correct.
So striking that in the red line version, striking this I makes sense because it's said, it's listed twice.
Here, and it's also listed here.
Right, yeah. Well, so this 50 feet is gone. This one doesn't
That one
exist
should go.
anymore. Yeah, it's already gone.
Okay,
So it's this one right here we're talking about also deleting because it's there. I'm sorry, it's there and there.
right,
So this one is unnecessary.
right. And then this is what he wants in here, serves 3 or more lots.
Well, it's
But
kind
it
of
would be
confusing
on that.
because this is different than what I'm looking at
Yeah.
here too. Which version is this?
This is the one that Woody sent around.
I know, but I noticed that there's.
I think that's
lists
the
cut off.
February. I think,
Okay.
is it the February you need?
Well, to prevent extra confusion, because that's where it was throwing me off a little, so this. I guess I should probably just double check,
it's 2025, I think so. It's February.
So many answers.
It can make all the difference in the world.
Yes.
April, not to confuse, but can I see what where you just said that last word, what are you thinking to?
Absolutely.
Where's the last?
This is the
Oh,
red comment.
this, the I,
Yes,
you were talking about, okay, that's right. It's just at 3, his request to add that.
oh, okay, yeah, so it's the same thing, I'm sorry, the formatting is just. With the red line just throws me off,
Yeah,
So
same here.
the B is gone. And that's just the new paragraph,
So there was a previous I that we're striking.
I think, okay, I think this is, just to simplify this, I think. Getting the lawyer to look at this makes all the sense in the world, because I myself now am confused, so. I think I wanna ask Jim specifically to look at this section here. Because I agree, there's some or and here that are, that
Mhm.
probably gonna need to get cleaned up, and there's several stating the same things. So I think, yeah, this could use a little touch up, and I don't
Yeah, there
think
could be
any,
some clarification and removal of duplication, but if you look in now the clean line version, right, like it's easier to look in the clean version, but this section was challenging.
understood, and I don't wanna make it seem like I'm criticizing whatsoever.
No,
'cause I
it's all
wouldn't know
good.
how to write this either.
I just need to look at it again on 2 screens. I can't do it on this tiny one.
Well, I literally, this afternoon, I had the red line, I had the non-red line, and I had the old one, and I was trying to put them all together, so.
Seth is here, maybe we can ask the question to him as well as the attorney about the 2 or the 3 or more lots.
I don't think Seth was coming here to talk about subdivision
No, I
regulations,
think
so.
he could provide a little insight. We're gonna put him on the spot here for a minute, but
Yeah, I don't wanna do that to it. I think regardless, I still, no offense, Seth. So I still want Jim to kind of like, because I think, and I'm happy to ask his opinion or get his opinion in the meantime as well. You know, that's easy enough from my perspective. Seth may disagree, but it's, just trying to determine like ands, ors and yeah.
If I'm looking at this as the lots without frontage piece,
Yes.
and there's some unique statute in the case law related to that in Vermont. So Jim Barlow, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
That municipal attorney.
Yeah.
Getting, I think, review from him is a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me to take a look at the review about what's that, I can do that. A lot of communities trip over this because of the unique Vermont case law.
Yeah. So. I think that's my suggestion would be specifically, I didn't have any other comments on the updates myself. I definitely want him to look at this one. What is select board, what are your all thoughts on this update? I know 2 of you have had a lot of time to think about this.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think for sure, run by. Somebody.
Any other? But you look like you got something to say.
I have like 1,000 questions, but they're just so vague. But I guess what I would like is for us, once they're done with their job, to be able to do it I mean, you're a big family landowner, It's like, it's big. This is a big deal, what these are saying. And we gotta be careful.
I don't know that much land.
Well, you don't personally, but your family, you come from it. Anyways, that's it. I would like that for us to have a honest conversation about it.
So. And probably Seth knows this by heart. Jim Barlow did give me the outline of the process and I'm happy to review that. I just gotta find this.
It's fine. Meetings are open.
We want you to
Exactly.
state the case law.
So, as I said in the previous meeting, the planning commission is, not only did they develop it, but they did the first few rounds of hearings and public comment.
do you
So
want someone to make a copy of that?
I don't have time to read that whole thing tonight.
You don't have time to read it tonight, but
Jim-
would you like her to make a copy and give it to you?
I have it in my email somewhere.
Okay.
And I read it enough that I decided to ask the attorney how to do it with the Cliff Notes version. I cheated, okay? You want me to, I admitted it on the record, I cheated. I asked the attorney Cliff Notes version. So planning commission. That's what I said. So planning commission did their side. So then they sent it to the select board. So not less than 15 or more than 120 days after the amendment has been submitted to the select board, we must hold the first of our public hearings. We just did.
Today.
So after that hearing, the select board may make changes to the proposed amendments. That's what we're discussing right now. The statute is not entirely clear as to whether a new public hearing is required for substantial changes in concept or meaning or extent of the proposed amendment or for minor changes. Because of this ambiguity, I recommend that the select board would hold in another meeting. And I do agree that that's the safest course of action.
It's prudent.
So then at least 10 days before the second hearing, we gotta file the copy of the change, with the town clerk, with the planning commission. The planning commission must then amend its report to reflect the select board's changes. It must submit that amended report to the select board at or before the second public hearing. After the select board's final public hearing, the proposed amendment may be adopted by a majority of vote. It will become effective 21 days after adoption unless warned by a select board for adoption by Australian ballot at a special or regular town meeting or by voter petition. Sound about right?
Perfect.
So that's the process. So I suspect there's a change here somewhere. And we discussed before town meeting, just kind of anticipating a second hearing in our budgeting process. I think we had tentatively scheduled or planned for the second meeting in April. Or, similar to tonight, just we'll do it a half hour earlier. Depending on how long this takes, like, we may have to push that off, but, well, because when is your next planning commission meeting is?
The third week of April.
So that, well, I mean, I guess it technically could work because it says you must submit it at or before the public hearing. But that'd be a day. That's not that fair. So we could do the first meeting in May. That'd give 2 weeks to, if there are changes.
Now, technically, the monkey wrench is the trustees of Cambridge have to adopt this as well. So what happened with the energy amendment to the town plan was the trustees were here.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. So we definitely want to invite them to that. Oh, they were? Oh, never mind.
But they formally need to adopt it. Am I understanding that correctly?
Because the structure of the bylaw and the subdivision bylaws in Cambridge is both town, Cambridge and village of Cambridge, the trustees also need to adopt, so that means there needs to be a forum. Every type of motion. The hearings can be at this concurrently, and traditionally, the way that has worked is the select board will hold the hearing at the select board meeting time. The trustees will attend that. The notice needs to say the town and
Both. Yeah,
So
I almost think I recall that we did that for that process, because we got 2 votes, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's the point. Who is the chair or the whatever for the village now? I'm not sure who the chair is, but Yeah.
Is it David?
probably still is David,
It's David, I believe,
because it's
changed.
David,
Gina?
Greg. No, it's can't think of her name.
Yeah,
Jenna Johnston.
that's it, yeah.
Yeah, Jenna. There you go.
And Georgiana.
Well, I think she's not officially on the
treasurer.
Yeah, she's on LCPC, so
Hmm.
she helps.
If I need anything, I email.
Yeah.
And she will distribute them.
Yeah, okay. Any questions on that process? So what I'm hearing, we don't need a motion or anything. I think we're good. I will send this to Jim. I'm happy to copy you and Dave or whoever wants to be on it and whatever. That doesn't bother me. See what he says. See what he crafts. Then, it sounds like it goes back to planning commission. Insert, if he comes up with language, insert that in. You guys will vote on it or approve it or whatever you want to do. And then, send it back to the select board. And then we'll schedule that. Okay, shoot for that first select board meeting in May. Does that sound?
Yeah.
Okay,
Cause I don't perceive there being, the edits that would be there have to be minor.
Yeah.
Unless you kick the whole thing back again.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I mean, I guess if there are substantial changes between now and then, or comments or whatever. I mean, that's the other thing is at the second meeting, people have the right to make additional comments.
Mhm.
And if they're warranted and they're substantial enough, we can take that under advisement.
right. And you can take it way back.
Yes, Joel.
So is the scope of review that you're giving Jim limited to section 4, or is it doing the whole document?
So he has already done the whole document. You know. I don't have his comments in front of me. But I don't know what he said specifically about this, but Woody pointed it out, and I do agree, it probably needs a second look by him.
On that particular
That
section?
particular one, but yes, he did review the entire document. I don't know how many changes he suggested, but had to been, I don't know, 10 or 12 maybe.
Was it you?
And
Yeah.
you guys adopted every single one, is my understanding.
Yep.
Jim's thorough. I think he does a very good job representing the town. But, I mean, Joel, you're welcome at any time, as anybody is. To send an email, you can send it to April, Dave, or myself, the select board.
No, no worries, thanks.
So, are you, the select board, you guys, all, that sound fair to you all?
Thanks.
So I will send this to Jim. I'll copy you, April. Yeah, we'll pick it up then, stay in touch.
Okay.
But that's the plan moving forward.
Right.
All right?
Thank you, Dave.
Yep, thank you, Dave.
Thank you,
And,
guys.
In April, Seth and LCPC for your assistance as well. It probably wasn't you, Seth, but other people at LCPC. Stop sharing. Okay. Moving on, we're gonna talk about congressionally directed spending grant for the Jeff bypass culvert.
Yeah.
Seth?
That's me.
So this is
Sounds good.
project that met with the select board about a couple of times last year. I'll give an overview because I know that
Hi, Seth, have you met Tony and
I haven't.
before?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Tony Bryce.
Tony Bryce.
Please, yeah.
Did you say you are? Sure, man.
Sure.
Sure, Mark. So Seth is, LCP's, what is your name?
Oh, deputy director.
So he's the deputy director for Laurel County Planning Commission. You've been there for a while, a couple days.
I think I did the math. As of June will be 15 years.
Yep.
So I don't like that number, but
Too big, too small.
So these guys help us a lot with, projects, grants, obviously they work with our planning commission a lot. Yeah, there's just, and, I see Victoria is online too. Victoria works with Seth as well, so, but there's, I don't know, is there 8 or 10? There's quite a few guys.
we fluctuate. I think we're around 8 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a couple different faces we'll see of, Alec and a few others I'm forgetting. Gina,
Yeah.
Little works for LCPC too, so. Yeah.
Yeah. So this project is one that was identified after the 2023 floods. If you see on the second page, there's a map outlining just to orient you around that area. That's Route 15, Boyle River side, and Village of Jeffersonville side. That way, you'll see the 3 larger buildings. Those are the Jeffersonville senior housing and the 2 family housing buildings next to that. What this is a follow-up to the flood bypass culvert that was installed in 2018 between the former Bell Gates property and the Joinery, now distillery, as part of a flood mitigation effort. Those culverts that are shown here, the 2 additional ones, are designed to help relieve flood levels in the village during larger storms. So the culvert that was installed in 2018 was designed based on modeling of the Brewster and Lamoille and protects the village up to about the 50-year storm. So it was very successful during the Halloween storm of 2019, the December 23 storm, and then the July 24 storm. But the big flood in July 23 was bigger than the capacity of that, and also bigger once the Lamoille starts overtopping Route 15, sending water from the Brewster into Route 15 doesn't work. So after that, the town worked with LCPC to do follow-up modeling that showed enough drop in the Lamoille, very subtle, but enough that would found these two additional culverts would provide additional protection, especially at the senior housing during floods up to the size of the 23 floods. So floods above the 100-year event. So LCPC last year worked with Cambridge to pursue two funding opportunities that unfortunately were not awarded. The first was the FEMA flood hazard mitigation grant, and then the second was the HUD community development block grant disaster recovery funds. This is another option. This is congressionally directed spending, which means rather than awarded through an agency, it's included in an appropriations bill at the request of a senator or representative. This project was shared with the delegation by Vermont Emergency Management because it is a high priority for them as well. And Representative Balin has asked for information to include it as a possible CDS request. We could also submit it for to the two senators as well. So the requests, the specific program is that it would go through would be the again, mitigation program. So those requests need to be formally submitted by a municipality. So that would mean the request would come if you approve it from the town of Cambridge. LCPC, as in the past, would help with the application, grant management if it was awarded, project management if it was awarded. So we are coming to request that permission to work with Eric to submit those requests. I do want to also bring to your attention that there is a match requirement, non-federal. LCPC has been very successful with these mitigation projects in Cambridge in the past of being able to find other resources for that match requirement. We'll work again to do that if you do decide to submit this. I'm going to give you the caveat, though, just so I'm clear, that the funding environment is not as favorable as it has always been. So we can't guarantee that, but we would pursue every opportunity for non-federal match that's available. If this did progress to the next step. So happy to pause and answer any questions. I threw a lot at you very quickly.
What is the match percentage?
The match would be 25%. So it's a big number. It is quite a big number.
484,000.
Yes.
When did they do this estimate? Remind me, 1.9 million.
That estimate was, the last update was for the HUD grant, and that was in September of last year. So it's relatively recent, and there was a contingency built in there, but
I believe that, correct me if I'm wrong, but was the 24 FEMA hazard mitigation, was that 100%?
that was. Yeah.
And then what was the HUD?
HUD was also 100%.
Yeah. I like that better.
Mhm.
It's not available.
Go try again.
Yeah.
That's my big hang up.
Mhm. Yeah.
As I'm sure probably the others did.
I understand that.
Yeah,
But if we get the funding, at 75% of
Mhm.
funding, and we don't get the other 25% from other sources, we don't have to do the project, do we?
You don't have to. You would want to work to secure match soon after an award before incurring engineering costs, though.
right.
And it is, as a, we, LCPC directly, worked through this issue because of it being a congressional request to, there is some, non-programmatic pressure to keep projects going.
Sure.
And that, that's a double-edged sword, right? For Barnes Camp, the visitor center and other improvements in the notch, that was also a congressionally directed spending request back when they were called earmarks. And there was the match was not in place at the time of the award. LCPC worked to gather that, but there was certainly both support for those additional requests from the delegation, and also some, like I said, non-programmatic pressure on LCPC to keep finding it.
Yep.
So
I mean, realistically, if they, and what do you think they would award if we went through with this? When would the award take place,
So I think the official answer is this year's fiscal bill, because of how things are going, for better or worse. Like CDS requests that were put in 2 years ago are now being funded. So I think 18 months to 2.5 years or so is probably the timeline for an award, would be my prediction, unless something happens very differently.
I might not be on the select board by then,
You might not. Might.
but being a big landowner still, I'd be affected.
Absolutely.
I mean, the other reality is too, so I wasn't anticipating that long, but if a year or two, but if it does get awarded, you're talking at least another year or two. In
Yeah.
engineering and permitting, not to mention digging up half of Abishon's yard.
There will be there will be right-of-way discussions too. Yeah.
The right of way is, to me, I mean, other than permitting, right of way is one of those sticky wickets.
Mhm.
I know you know that.
Yeah.
I know Eric knows that. I don't know if any other select board members know that. Because if a landowner doesn't want to grant you permission for the project, there's really only one course of action. It's eminent domain. You gotta really, it's not something you really want to do. We had a similar issue with a culvert, actually 2 culvert projects where we almost bumped into that, and luckily it did come down to that. It came down to a lot of sweet talking and some minor horse trading, so to speak. So we were able to make the deal, but it was a little touch and go for a few minutes.
But if we go
This is
for
a
it,
lot of right away, not just Abishon, like both sides of the road.
Yeah.
Sorry.
if we go for it, submit the application, it's 18 months, 2.5 years before we even know if they fund us. If we get flooded in the meantime, right?
Right.
I mean, that's our worry.
Mhm.
And then it's another 1.5 years. So we're talking 4 to 5 years before we see.
I think, to not overpromise, you should be thinking 4 to 5 years, and roughly, yeah.
You gotta, it's hard to think objectively since it was 2018 was when that culvert was put in.
Yes.
I mean, I was working right here during flood, and I I watched out and I was listening to that water get sucked in the Halloween storm 2019, that gets sucked down through that culvert. And I stared at that box for almost 2 years thinking, it's never gonna work. And my gosh, did that sucker take some water. My lord. And I was flabbergasted.
Unbelievably.
But I was also here in July of 23 when I drove through the roundabout through the water and then around by the mobile through the water and then back around to Cambridge Village through the water to get home.
Yeah,
And that culvert was buried in several feet of water. So
Yeah.
there's a balance there, right? A Halloween event storm, that culvert obviously didn't work. But anything much more than that, I don't know. Perhaps this would help, but if the Lamoille River is already that high, I don't know. Yeah. I personally, I'll just tell you my opinion is I don't have the stomach for a $500,000 project. 4 to 5 years from now, that the project price is probably gonna increase 10, 15, 20% more in that time frame at least. I know they probably did put a 10, 15, 20% contingency.
They did, yeah.
number, but just right now, I'm seeing prices go up,
Yeah.
skyrocket right now.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, Brooke?
If. So. If we got it starting the process. We would have to basically follow through with it.
Which process, I guess?
The whole thing, the funding and the planning.
So. So tonight, what Seth is looking for is whether we want to move forward with this. And what he would do is, and I think is what you said,
Yeah.
is apply for the grant. Then you put together a package working with Eric and whoever else to
Mhm.
apply for it. Applying for a grant doesn't guarantee we get it. We could wait a year and a half, 2 years, and we don't even get the thing, so it doesn't matter. And then it's, it is what it is. Or we do get it, and then as Seth said, there's some maybe not obligations, but it's
Strongly advised.
that you don't reject it at that point. I mean, I think we have turned back grants in the past because we, priorities and things changed, but
This is a reimbursement
it
as
is.
well, so we would have to front some of these funds. I don't know what the reimbursement process is for a CPS grant.
oh, I'm sure with the
You-
beds, it's easy.
Pretty quick, yeah.
With for these, the funding first goes through VEM and they have they've been pretty good.
So they're pretty quick.
They're pretty quick.
So they
It's
don't front it for a while.
right. It's not directly through FEMA, which it's through VEM. Yeah.
So it's
What's
pretty-
EM stand for?
Vermont Emergency Management.
So we've
It's
had
kind of like FEMA, right, small, right, for Vermont. right?
State level.
So that's not as much of a concern, it's just the overall dollars, but
Tony, work it down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a little skeptical as well, just because. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't know how, it's hard to think how we're gonna come up with funding for all of that. Just.
Yeah.
It's gonna flood, but. I don't know.
It definitely seemed more attractive when they were paying for 100%.
I can understand that.
Yeah. Angela?
I think we should take the money that people want to give to the community center and do a huge public service education and say, look, this is more important.
Danny?
I don't know where to go to follow that, but. I am not one to get to sleep in my bed 48 hours or even longer than that. On the flood of 23 yet.
Oh, you didn't sleep. I'm like, where are you
No.
going with this?
Um,
Okay, sorry.
I yes, the price struggle with it. I, as well as Cody, seeing what that box did for the Halloween storm, I can't even imagine what it would do with all three in. But would it be enough when Memorial gets up as high as that is? I don't know. I'd almost, was a lot better than I thought it would. And I gotta believe it would help here too, but that's huge.
Kind of hearing a majority no is what I'm kind of hearing, or pass, I should say.
I say go for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, do you want to vote on it? I'm fine with if somebody wants to make a motion.
I make a motion that we apply for the congressional funding grant.
Oh, second.
Any further discussion?
Yes. Once awarded, if we're awarded.
Mhm.
I'm assuming that decision, whether we move forward at that point or not, is a rather quick decision needs to be made.
There will be, well, the way the process would work is there is the appropriation is made, it's put in the budget, the federal budget. Then the community has a certain amount of time to, and it is actually a longer period of time than you would necessarily think, it's essentially develop what is called an application, and it's the same forms that you would do in a competitive program. And that would be the time where, if you haven't secured the match, if you have concerned about it, that would be sort of the second opportunity to pull back. And then so it's not, there's actually a step between the inclusion in the budget and the contract. There's this application.
So if it's sort of say yes tonight, and the application gets sent.
Mhm.
When does LCPC start looking at trying to get them
The match.
funds for the match?
That would be tomorrow.
Okay,
Tori's already has some options out there, so.
so by the time this, if so awarded,
Mhm.
technically, we would have a fairly good idea of to where we would be at with the matching funds.
Mm.
And let's just say that we decide at that point, no, what's the complications or ramifications of saying no to the federal grant at that point in time?
Well, I think there would be, the farther you go along the process, the more ramifications there are. It would essentially go back into the ether of the funding pool at that point. They would not have gone through an obligation process. There likely would need to be some partner management with the delegations, staff who worked on this. We probably, given the nature of this, are going to need to have those conversations as well of recognizing that this is a very small community. So they're, aware that a step of this is going to need to be looking for those other non-federal resources for the match.
What are the odds that this funding would not be available? Given the current funding landscape of what we're looking at, and that's big. Yeah.
So the mitigation program, the competitive mitigation program, so there's two general pots of this kind of funding. There's the nationwide competitive mitigation program. That is one of the ones that has been going through on and off funding freezes. And then there is the hazard mitigation grant funding program, and I recognize those sound almost the same.
Yeah.
But that is tied to a specific disaster, and those are dependent on a federal disaster declaration.
Okay.
So
Funds are, I don't want to say set in stone, but
they're
reliable.
they're reliable. The second is really dependent on there being a disaster declaration and it being of a size where they can fund multiple multi-million-dollar programs. The competitiveness of the first one, is for implementation. Vermont hasn't done great because it's general, like the wildfires and coastal flooding is sort of where that has gone. So it is reliable. This type of project might not be as high on the list for the first one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That answers my question.
Okay, I know that was a
Yeah.
long answer.
No, I'm just trying to,
Mhm.
or if we're thinking really hard, or
What's the largest amount the LCPC's acquired for a non-federal match?
For I think the
Single project,
first single project,
is $500,000 in the range?
it's I'm trying to actually think of the first ones. So the bridge and the culvert together, the match came from a type of funding that loses its federal designation, and what that was a single application that was in the range of this. So it's not undoable, but
Cause what I'm thinking
mhm.
to, I don't know what your comment was about, I guess, Angela, cause I'm struggling to think where we're giving them money, but,
We weren't given it. It's not our money.
okay. Town's not giving the community center any money right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I would rather see the investment go into more housing, not in the floodplain. And $500,000 development somewhere else in town that's not prone for flooding, to me, would be the better use of that money, is my thought. To a counterpoint.
I would say we lost a lot of homes. And we can't afford to do that.
Right. You know, it's.
And $500,000 in today's home market is nothing. It's the average. It's the average.
Right. How many homes in Jefferson, I mean, I know a lot of people got displaced. But relatively speaking, the most homes that got flooded were in Cambridge, right there, not Jeff Village.
yeah, Cambridge.
Definitely it was more devastating in Cambridge, yes.
I mean, obviously, there are a lot more people displaced because of Mans Meadows. Or maybe not more, but there was a lot of people displaced by
Addition.
Mans Meadows, but. We focused a lot
Good
on
point.
flood mitigation in Jeffersonville. We've done a lot already.
Mm.
I think that this was a great idea when it was 100%. I am less enthusiastic about this at a 75%, 25% match, or 25% match. 70, 25 funding. I just, as much as we struggled, or I struggled with the budget this year, I just have a hard time.
It's killing you.
Yeah. So I plan to vote.
I respect
but
that.
So, any other discussion? Okay, so by saying yes, you want to proceed with this project. By voting no, you don't want to vote.
I will say one more thing.
Sure,
You're thinking that 484,000 has to come from us.
that's what I'm thinking, because.
And I am not thinking that. I am thinking they are gonna secure a fair amount of it.
Yeah.
And we can do what we can do. Not taxes, but we can make this a project if we believe in it.
Sure,
So I think we're
you are
looking at it
correct.
a little
I
differently.
am doubting that they're gonna get that funding, and I'm not trying to.
I understand.
No, fair enough, fair enough. That's
But
fine.
there is a risk, and the risk is it's 100% on, no, 25% on us.
Mhm.
I would also say, working in construction, the costs haven't gone down
Mhm.
any in the past 5 years. And if I rewind the clock 5 or 6 years, like it's just looking at bids I did 6 years ago, it's just unreal how much it's changed in the past 6 years alone. And 4 or 5 years from now, who knows? Maybe prices go down in 5 years, but I highly doubt it does. And it's just the rate it's going makes me worried that that 1.9 million could grow substantially. And that's still 25%.
Not
But are you-
necessarily.
Are you hesitant?
This is also done, this 1.9 million, I'm gonna throw an engineer under the bus. I like SLR, I think they do okay. That's not a. They're an engineer. It's not, they develop engineering estimates.
Mhm.
And I mean, as a contractor, we pick on them all the time about it. Because we wonder how big their dartboard is when they throw the dart at the board.
And I don't know the answer to this, and so I'll ask you a little clearer this time. So if we say, yes, we start the grant process and we get awarded this, we have to do something with it, or can we, if we find out at that time that LCPC has not been able to get anywhere near what they thought they could get for matching funds on this, we have to take it?
I don't think we have to, but I think what Seth was saying was that it could be awkward to.
But here's another point. Like you said, if this 1.935 comes up to 2.2 in 6 years, 4 years, whatever, there's your out. You weren't granted that amount of money.
Yeah, but here's the problem is you may not know that until, cause it's it's gonna take 2 years to know yes or no, we're gonna get the funding. But then it's gonna take SLR another 2 years to design it, to permit it.
Yep.
Right away costs,
All of it.
all that stuff. That could easily,
And that is
you're
your
already-
answer?
you're already paying SLR for that. So if you walk away from it, correct me if I'm wrong, we pay the bill for their time and effort, right?
So the
If it's there.
the payback provisions for FEMA are not as stringent as for like V-Trans. But the farther you go along, the more the greater the possibility that there's a request for, reimbursement of those of costs. Usually post the environmental review phase is when you start getting into that risk. So you still have a little bit of return point at that.
So,
But
to Angela's point, that
Yeah.
If we get into it and we're like, there's a severe permitting issue of why this can't move forward. No fault of ours,
Mhm.
but it would like put undue burden on the project. Is that an acceptable out or?
it has been for past projects. It has been for past projects.
That wasn't the answer I was looking for.
I know it wasn't, but there is, I think for like federal highway V-Trans funded projects are very strict about payback when you don't move forward. VM has been less so because that's specifically to federal highway, but I think for this, given the constraints that are there, if you did move forward, the first thing in, when if there wasn't an actual award, when you do the actual grant application piece, you would need to ask for a update to the cost estimate to make sure it was still feasible based on whatever year that is, and then resolving the right of way and any permitting before you go too deep into final design. It would to avoid those issues. I think that given, given the, I thought I heard you say that.
I might have sighed.
You might have sighed. I mean,
Donna just sat down in her chair.
okay, I think that's what it was. I do think regardless of how you vote tonight, feedback to the delegation about the match and the challenge of the match is valuable regardless of how you vote. So if you decide not to because of the match,
When you say the delegation, are you talking Becca Ballant?
yes, yes. You know, because they write the laws that set the match. If you do, so if you decide not to go forward, that is valuable feedback.
Yes.
If you decide to go forward, it's also valuable to tell them that you are concerned about the match and pursuing other opportunities to do that. So if you're preparing them for that
Okay.
possibility.
And is there any way to say, we really want that money, but we can't afford our portion in our application?
It is a political process, so,
Start writing letters?
was,
Well,
so,
it'd kind of be awkward to ask for money and say, by the way, if you give us this money, we're not gonna be able to afford it.
yeah,
Well, it's awkward, but it's also true.
I probably wouldn't give money to somebody that's gonna bankrupt them in the long run.
Fair enough. Okay.
Do you feel, Seth, that there will be other opportunities that will come up?
I think there will be more opportunities for some of that match. I think given the current funding landscape, I can't say that it will be all of it.
It's the scary thing right now.
All right, this is another weird question, sorry. But can we do one of,
So, the modeling that was done to identify them really found that, because that was the first question I asked, like,
that's good.
really found that they work in conjunction
Yeah.
with each other, and removing one or the other, then it doesn't, it
Changes
it
everything.
changes the dynamics too much.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to call, we need to vote this thing, cause we need to move on, but, so unless there's any like dire questions. So again, if you're in favor of moving forward with this, you vote yes. If you're against moving forward with this, vote no. All those in favor of moving forward this, or the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Abstained? I believe it's 3-2, no.
Okay.
So Cody.
Danny, Tony.
The boys against the girls tonight. I don't either.
Well, Seth, we appreciate your time. I mean, I think my sticking point was definitely the 25%. I assume that's Danny and Tony, would you say that?
It's a large amount of money.
Don't know, we're gonna.
So, I mean, I think it's fair to provide that feedback one way or the other. That was kind of the main point, as my main concern. But, or one of my main concerns, so it's worth that feedback. I'd say it's fair.
Okay,
And they know this issue.
Thank you very much.
no problem. That,
Cool.
thank you.
All right,
All right,
we'll be in touch, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Something.
yeah.
We'll keep them out.
And there.
All right. Moving on to John, I believe, right? John,
Since Danny Saint's here.
ambulance. Well,
Oh.
John and Danny. I think that,
You said John.
Schwinnard, John Horner,
Nice to meet you.
Tony Bryce.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
so John's the chief of Cambridge Rescue, if you didn't know already. But, yeah, Danny, where do you want to start with this?
So. Thought I had this up here. I had to pull it all up for Angela. and
You
I
probably,
Kind of lost it now.
I got it right here.
Thank you. So there's been some conversation back and forth with Cody and John and such about the upcoming ambulance purchase, when it was gonna be completed and so on and so forth, and in all fairness, everyone needs to know that there was a contract price that was agreed upon between, what's the name of the company?
Northeastern Response Vehicles.
Okay, and Cambridge Rescue, purchase of a new ambulance for $347,841. Minus a trade amount of one of the rigs currently it was valued at $30,000. And this, for a total of $317,841, and this was done back in,
24.
June of
10th.
24. So we're coming up on a 2-year mark, and this is pretty normal. I don't know if you've even seen in the media lately, the stories of fire departments can't get fire trucks. It's taking so long to get them, and ambulances are in the same sort of boat at the moment. So long and short of it is, contract was agreed upon and signed upon, and everybody moved forward. But by the time everything was chassis were built and the bodies were being built and assembled and such, to the point to where you start ordering all the equipment to go in it, because nobody orders the equipment to sit in your inventory for 2 years, because you're upfronting all the money on this sort of stuff. And I see this in my business nonstop now. The stretcher unit, and the power load unit to put in the back of this rig that was discontinued, and they've upgraded. And when they upgraded, because they don't use this model anymore, they use this model now, there was an increase in the cost of this stretcher unit for $6,511. And John was trying to read through all this information as well and trying to find out what happened to it all and how it all occurred. I do know the salesman to that company. I've known him most of my life. I had a very long conversation with him on the whole subject. He said that there is everything I just stated, that the stretcher now is the only one that's available, and it's $6,511 more. He did state that the powered load unit was an additional $2,800 on top of what the original one was. He says that their company is willing to absorb that cost. And he also stated too that we are trying to maintain that $30,000 trade value that we gave you almost 2 years ago. So with the increase of the $6,500, the ambulance cost now will be $324, $352. Just a $6,511 increase. Ironically, in this, John approached me on, interject if I'm missing anything along the way to get to there.
Town meeting day.
So John approached me on town meeting day saying, Dan, just food for thought. We did have an incident, they encountered an accident with a deer one night.
The ambulance did?
The ambulance did, and it received a little bit of damage, and they submitted that claim with their insurance company, and an estimate was done for the full repair. But at that point, they received a check in the amount of $10,083. And he had said to me, I don't know if we have to fix it all, or will it take all that amount to fix it? I wonder if, what's your thoughts on this? Maybe we could use the extra in that to maybe cover the cost of this. Guys here to Vermont, he's back here, I don't know, every few weeks, once a month or so anyway. And to talk to him about it and discuss it with him, and and he has led you to believe that
they're gonna honor the 30,000. It's all cosmetic damage. The ambulance is still in service. So they're willing to take it as it is.
Sweet Jesus.
So meaning that they have, and even if there was a little bit, if you saw it and said, well, gosh, it was a little bit more than what I thought, but he's had pictures. Has he physically seen it?
Yep.
He
was
looked
here
at it.
last
So,
week.
and he's still willing to stick to that 30,000 in trade. So John said, what's your thoughts on, we take this insurance check and they would be willing to give that towards that increase of that stretcher unit to cover that extra cost in that. That's why
And where's the other 4,000 going?
To be determined. I think our thought was if the trade-in value was going to be affected, it would probably eat up that whole 10,083.
Thought was,
But we would kind of leave that to the board. It is a meager show of goodwill, but we feel that it's a good option to give it to the town to basically show our appreciation for all the support that you have shown us over the last several years.
My suggestion would be to put it in the rescue equipment fund, which has not been funded for a number of years.
The remaining 4,000 and some
Yeah.
change.
My
Yeah,
thought, my initial thought.
Agree.
That's good.
it sounds good to me.
We still need to, at some point, I say we, RHSQ needs to come up with some type of proposed plan on what that,
On the usage of that.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
What the, yeah, the long-term goals of it
Mhm.
is.
Yep. And to that point, we do have something in mind. We've submitted a grant for an automated CPR device, which is roughly $20,000. Coincidentally, that's about what's in the rescue equipment fund. So if we don't get that grant, we may be submitting a proposal for that in the coming months. But so just so you know, that is in the back of our minds. We just haven't moved far along enough to act on it just yet.
So. My initial reaction to this whole deal was, I sign proposals all the time. Cost increase happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the middle of one right now.
Mhm.
Diesel fuel going up, gas going up, steel prices going up. But I'm locked in, so I don't really have the option to increase my price.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of, like, that was my initial reaction, is like, well, why'd you sign the agreement then if you're not gonna hold
Mhm.
true to your price? Because his option could have been to secure it at that point, lock in his price,
Mhm.
right? That's always an option. I don't know the logistics of buying and building ambulances, but it's always my option to issue a purchase order to my vendors as soon as I'm able to lock in that price.
Mhm.
That was my initial reaction. Having all said all that, he's meeting us part way by eating some of it. I think this just happens to work out, and I think his
I
ambulance.
mean, yes, absorbing that $2,800 figure was nice in my book. Holding the trade value, that's huge in today's world. In my business, I won't give you a trade value of what your truck's gonna be worth 2 years from now.
Yeah.
I can give you a value of what it is today.
When is this coming?
End of April, it's slated to be here.
okay.
But with production delays, in my career, my agencies have received, 3 new ambulances and every single one of them has been delayed. So I would anticipate some sort of delay with this, but probably by early summer at the very
Okay.
latest.
Yeah, it's big to hold that
Yeah.
value to me, number one, but it's off topic for a second, but it is what we're gonna have to look towards or look at for the future. There is a local town here near us that bought a fire chassis from me a year ago. It is now just arrived at the fire body company. It's not due to be built for 3 more years. But there are places placing orders for these chassis before the next big emissions change of 2027 is coming. That could be $20,000 to $30,000 more per engine. So this is what people are doing just to get on a list. And the bodies are so far out there.
And to the point of honoring the price, I believe Dan had the discussion with Robert about that. And while I myself have not seen the verbiage in the contract that says that we would be held to third-party vendor price increases, my understanding is that it is there.
Yeah. And to Robert's point, which I do understand, you talk about issuing a PO to your vendors at that point in time, but then you're paying for that then 2 years in advance, and it's not always, it gets harder and harder. Tariffs are now in play. That changes everything. It used to be that I'd sell a chassis and then we'd float it until body was put on, but body companies are so far out to get things done now. At floor plan rates of $1,500 a month, it's crazy. So you ask for things up front, and there's all sorts of different ways of business being looked at now because of all this. It makes it hard, but I do think that we may have found an apple to appease all this to make it all better.
I'm fine with it. You all, the rest of the board?
Yes.
We don't have to decide right this second where the remainder goes,
Mhm.
but I'd probably kind of pump that off to the finance committee for their thoughts. So when you meet with them this fall,
Mhm.
but that would be my recommendation, is that that's where it goes.
Sure.
The only other option would consideration would be the emergency vehicle capital fund. Cause that's kind of what it's for, is that fund, really.
Mhm.
So it'd be one, and my vote would be one of those two.
And do we have that capital, that 317?
Yeah, that's already, yeah,
That's-
that's.
It's already
in
been
there.
set aside.
Well, it's in the account, but yes, it's there.
Earmarked for it, yes.
Okay,
Okay.
Any other questions from anyone?
thank you.
Yeah,
The
thank you.
only thing was just the update on the generator, so there was a power outage. Assuming that the tech, that, yes, that was recommended, and he came down. The diagnosis changed 3 times while he was there. It was not producing power, then it produced power, and then it was producing power, but sending extra power to the starter. All control board related, it seems, but it could be the battery, it could be a solenoid. Too many moving targets to have on a rescue building, so we're researching replacements. Okay. Talking about that unit might be a good manual unit. We might suggest removing that unit from there. And well, there's almost always somebody there at all times. So if the power did go off, right, are you talking about just going out there and flipping the switch, or? Well, no, because rescue, no offense to rescue guys or ladies, but they're not generator techs or electrical. Yeah. Anything. So my thought was to replace theirs, make it functional and reliable. And maybe highway could, they're good at going out and manually starting it and physically throwing a switch if they had to. You mean like a
Yeah.
once a year it kicks on, or once a month, whatever it is.
Or if we need it, we can go physically start
Oh,
it,
okay.
have a standalone unit, but I don't know the logistics is all
Yeah.
happened today.
Mm,
But they need something that's going to be reliable.
Yeah.
And they don't have to worry about which switch or which breaker, or it didn't start, and whatever the case may be. And
Yeah.
especially if they're in a situation where they need to get out the door, like
Mhm.
pronto, or the ambulance needs to be charged, or whatever the case may be. So
Mhm.
my thought was that unit wouldn't be scrap. I think there's some functionality to it. It might have some quirks, but I believe the quirks maybe for the highway department to work with, but that's more to come later.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Perfect.
Thanks, John.
Have a great night.
Thanks, John.
thank you.
Conference room policy.
Jessica, I think who's the letter, so I'll speak with this until she comes in, but Jessica created the conference room policy after, I guess, requests are increasing, confusion was who, what, where, how is also increasing. So they created the policy, or Jessica created the policy. Jim had looked at it and approved, with very little edit. If any edit, I believe, is in the packet, and Angela has a hard copy if anyone wants to see it, but it basically just outlines responsibilities, expectations, things of that nature.
And so one thing I just quickly noticed is missing, or I don't know how Jim accounted for it, is elected commissions or committees. Because like,
Versus appointed,
well, I guess I'm not sure why select board and planning were specifically called out, but like cemetery is an elected commission.
Mhm.
They're not appointed. But is that covered by the term commissions? Does cemetery meet here? I assume they do.
They
no,
don't, actually, they meet over at the
Kate's
Oh,
insurance place.
Doesn't mean I'll
but in
change in the
theory,
future.
but in theory, they would
Right.
be allowed to
Yeah.
use this place.
I think the first paragraph, I don't have it in front of me, but I think it says,
So there's probably, just making sure that that office job is really.
Committees, boards.
official
and
municipal
commissions.
functions. Yeah. Is what I read as a umbrella for
I would say so.
anything that covers over the town.
Yeah, cause it's just, it's weird, cause the planning commission is an appointed commission, although it's like state statute, but
If we just change that to elected slash appointed, because they're both. The rec is,
I don't. I mean, the rec board, trails, all those other committees, those are appointed committees.
Well, it says the last bullet is any formal established committee authorized by the select board or by town vote.
which would be cemetery.
It's not established by state statute. Whatever, I think it's minor, but. My other thought is. Specifically authorized by the town administrator or town clerk. I'm just assuming that you're not gonna be here forever. But is that what you would want? Donna?
What's your, would you
That
question?
I would get to what, decide?
Well,
Do you want it specifically?
Do you want
to
it-
say town clerk?
I mean, that. I don't mind because I know you guys all get along, but. There's been times in the past where that you may not have wanted that. Just trying to say something without saying
I'm hearing it.
it.
And I'm reading
It's
into
gonna
it.
be here forever, so, thanks.
I'm okay with leaving it.
Does that or just need to change to an and?
Well, then. you could
So-
50/50.
I can just say
so,
something.
Sure.
Oh, please.
Okay. So mostly why this was created was because we've had a lot of outside committees want to use our space because there's not a lot of spaces in our area for
Right.
usage. I've just seen some trouble with because we had the rules of we're not giving out our keys to an organization that's not under the town. So these outside committees had to have their meetings during regular business hours, but that was proving pretty, some of them were pretty big and they interrupted regular just business everyday things. And so we're just trying to prevent, we don't know what they're going to be talking about, what they're bringing to the table that people are going to be walking into. Is it going to be something controversial like politics or anything, whatever it might be? If it's not a town group, I was just worried about that. Donna had the same concerns. People didn't feel comfortable coming in and maybe getting their dog license because they saw the meeting going on, so they just left. So we were just trying to nail down if there are meetings going on, then they are based on the town's stuff going on, and that if it was anything after hours, then it would have to be just town committees.
I generally don't have any issue with it. I'm just trying to make sure it covers the appropriate bases that you're looking for. I'm fine with this. I could certainly understand why it would be disruptive, especially during the day. And we do have to cut it off somewheres. And with the number of committees, hopefully there's gonna be one less one here in a few minutes. Yeah, we have limited space. We've discussed options about how we could possibly combat that, but there's nothing economically to do that in the short term, so I have no issue with that at all.
You're good with the wording?
You asking me?
No.
I personally
So-
think you should remove it just to say
I
town
know,
clerk.
so Jess. So where it says town administrator or town clerk, is this where? Like what Cody was kind of saying, without really saying. and stuff?
Yeah.
So should it just be handled by the town clerk's office, since the town clerk's office is the one who handles the keys anyway?
Or I would say, yeah, or if you wanna change it to town clerk or town clerk's assistant or something, I don't know, so however that you wanna word that or.
Because again, the town administrator usually doesn't have,
Well, you could, but I guess my point is changing it to like, if you weren't here, but
Right.
Jessica or if Linda
oh,
was,
yeah, definitely.
you could
Anyone in here,
delegate
yes,
that
yes.
task to
Yes.
your assistant.
The town
Because
clerk
what
committee,
what-
yeah.
there, like you're saying, could there arise a problem?
If you wanted a second person, I mean, you could also, like I think it's valid to have a backup in here. I do.
appointee, you said.
Yeah.
someone
Or the
said.
town clerk's
Town
appointed.
clerk's appointee.
Yeah.
Town clerk or town clerk's appointee. I think would cover.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that works,
Yeah.
because then you could appoint Eric if you wanted
Thank
to,
you.
if you weren't here, or me, if you feel the need to make me do with that.
Okay.
Um,
What do you think, Jessica?
I mean, I think that's fine.
um. Yeah, because then later it also says about getting prior approval from the town clerk, so I think it would be good to clarify that.
So there have been, and again, Jessica can also attest to that. There have been people who never asked us in the office, or maybe even Eric, I'm not sure, but they never asked us, and then people just showed up and started having a meeting, and it's like,
During business,
yes.
Yeah.
You know, so,
That is odd.
but then people do, it's like when they come, it's like everyone is staring at them, they're going, what did I do? And it's like, it does make them, people who come here, it makes them feel a little awkward.
Jessica, while you're making those changes, further down, it's the last section on that page, prohibited uses, again, just town administrators in there. Just FYI to pull that too.
So do we want to approve with changes noted so we can move forward and not
There's nothing on that.
Yes.
so yeah, it would just be, the signing of it would be,
just the last
you
page?
should just sign it next time, or is it just the last page?
It's just the last page, and there's nothing on that to change it, I see.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at my open meeting law training, wherever that is. Is, I mean, from my recollection, like most other, planning commission is not one, but, and the DRB is not one. But like trails, I think cemetery is, but like, most of those committees don't have to physically be here. They can do 100% Teams remote, and now that they've got their emails, they can do that correctly, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so some committees, especially if there's conflicts, don't need to physically be here
Yeah, we have a couple of committees that
solely
meet
on
on
it.
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And equity they have it the same time we have select board meetings.
Planning commission, DRB, regulatory bodies that's not the case for it.
Yeah, they have to do hybrid.
Yeah. So, so hopefully, I think you can get a Zoom account for free, or maybe it's not free anymore, but for any of these other groups or committees, there's lots of other places. Maybe there's not a physical location, but
Well, Cambridge Cares, I just log them into our general Teams account on the conference room and they run off that, so
yeah,
that's great.
it gives them money so they can. Get their own Teams account. All right, well, I can't find it, but I'm fairly confident that was the whole point of it. I think I've talked to you guys about this before, or maybe not directly, indirectly. I hope there's something about the keys that we can possibly change in the future. And I think there's some middle ground there that's worth exploring. I know that's a sore subject, but I hope there's something that would definitely ease your burden. And that's all I'm looking for, is to easing your burden, but I'm not gonna sit here and stand on my soapbox and argue the point. Just asking to keep an open mind. Okay.
So I would make the motion that we adopt said
Cambridge Town
office conference room use policy with the changes discussed that I've submitted to Eric. If just can catch it up.
Is there a second to that motion?
Seconded.
Any further discussion? So all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Motion carries. You have the printed copy down here. Let's
Headed your way.
go citizen, go gov, citizen, go. Go gadget, gov.
That's all I thought of when I read it too.
So Jessica and I both reached out to them for different reasons. And we both received a proposal and they matched, so that was good.
That's a good start.
It's a good start. I reached out on my behalf, which would be road closures, public notices, hearings, agendas, anything that we reach out through Front Porch Forum, Facebook and on the website. Jessica had her, I think hers was like tax related, town office, dog licenses are due, X, Y, Z, and things of that nature. So there is, in my opinion, a great need for outreach. If there's a complaint I get more often than dogs and road issues, it's probably that. My hesitation initially, I had this conversation before Jessica with the GoGov or where they are, is the cost. And I was having a hard time justifying the cost. Jessica and Donna have since jumped on board with, an argument that mailings are expensive, time of stepping envelopes and getting notices out and things like that. And this may be more effective for meeting notices and things like that. So this is where we're reaching out with our you to talk about your thoughts on, it's nearly $5,000 annually. From what we've gathered for information, we do believe that will cover the expenses and the credits needed to send out these notices.
What will cover it?
$4,700 and change. It's that proposal is in there.
Yeah.
For the texting app. I don't
So-
know. Go ahead.
So it was my understanding that, so with this company and what, like signing up for it, there's an app that you get, that's specific to Cambridge. So people don't have to put any of their information. They just download this app. So if we wanted to call it Cambridge Connections, we could call it Cambridge Vermont Connections. People download the app and then they get to decide what they want to hear about. Like if we say something about roads or if we say something about recreation stuff, like, so they get to choose that. They don't have to put in their phone number. They don't have to put in their name. So I feel like people might be more inclined to do that because they're not giving out information that might be out there. So the 20,000 credits, quote unquote, is included in that $4,700. That is for text and calls. So if we send out a text, if somebody signs up for texting, then that would be part of the 20,000 credits. Or if we send out a call to everybody that signed up for it, then that would take away from the credits, is what I understood.
So explain the credits thing to me. I guess I missed that part.
A credit is kind of like a minute. This is all based off a cellular network. So when you send out a text or whatever, you're using a credit to reach out to this person.
And is it per sent or per received?
Per sent. You can,
So it
they
doesn't
cannot
matter.
reach out to us. This is a one-way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but I didn't know if you if you have 3,000 residents that all applied for this.
Yeah.
If one text that's for 3,000 or
No,
it's up to 20,000 submissions out.
it's in the packet, I believe, but I told, it's based on our population density, and then, yeah, they set the credits to that. If we have to purchase more credits, that's,
Credits are non-refundable, but will carry forward as long as the subscription remains active.
yeah,
So next, although the credits are only $800 for 20,000 of them.
Yeah.
It's $3,900 a year plus $800 for 20,000 credits.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had, Jessica, or I'm sorry, were you gonna, but
No, we probably have the same question.
I don't think so.
Well, I guess what I'm confused about is how do you get a text if you haven't gotten, if I haven't given you my number?
You have to download an app,
Download the app.
and then,
So the app gives you a notification?
yeah, the
So
app.
the app connects me to you. And then you give, that wasn't your question?
No.
Yeah, so
the
there's different options. So like somebody can just download the app. So like let's say it's Facebook. So you can download Facebook and never put in your information and like still sign up for notifications just through the app. So like it'll pop up on your phone when this app gets a notification, or you can also sign up to get text. So that would mean you would have to supply your phone number that you want to get texts to. So there's different options for people. If they do want to supply their information, then they can. If they don't want to, then they would just get it through the app. Otherwise, it would come through a text, like if you're texting your brother.
There's still an email option as well. That doesn't need to be through text.
So you have to have a cell phone for this to work.
Or a computer of some kind, yes.
Okay,
Yes, if you have a landline at home, and that's your only,
way of communicating.
this is your only way, then this will not benefit you.
This is not for you.
Either will, Facebook or website, so.
Right.
Yeah,
So this is probably a dual conversation for the two departments, but the two users of this system. Where do you, Eric, see? How would you see, if we went forward with this, how would you say, okay, trees fell down on Plot Road? What is your course of action for sending out notices? Cause we've got, if we had this, there'd be this plus all the other ones we're currently using.
yeah,
What would be your thought on that?
it's just another tool to my list of things I reach out to, so I would still post on Front Porch Forum, well, I still post on Facebook, to the town.
Sorts of arms, Is there a way for this program to auto send it to the town's Facebook page?
There probably is, it's not a question I specifically asked.
Just trying to eliminate the number of different places. You just be like a one thing and
That would be nice, and then also the management of this thing, I don't know what that would take, but I can't imagine.
It does say unlimited subscriptions. You could put your own Facebook account in.
Thing in there, but
and I assume it would give you so that you, Donna, Jessica, like you would all have the
we would all need the administrative aspect to it, yeah, where it wouldn't be, because like me, I post the other morning, I think it was 5 o'clock or whatever, and I posted that road closure, so
yeah.
I'm not gonna be in the office all the time.
I wrap my brain around all the highway stuff. But Donna and Jessica, how would you guys see this being used for what you guys do? Jessica.
So I guess I reached out to this when, of course, we had the alarming amount of delinquent taxes. So it doesn't have to be a Cambridge resident. Like somebody from California that has a timeshare, or not a timeshare, but a condo here, can download the app on their phone. And when we say, just a reminder, taxes are due, like maybe that might catch 5% more people. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just, that's where I kind of was going with it. That anybody anywhere can download this app, and the information they're getting is information that anybody can see anyway. So I was just trying to help the town with the issues that we've been seeing recently. Like, we only have 50 dog licenses currently for 2026, and they're due by April 1st. Like, that's also very alarming.
Well, there's only 50 dogs in town. That's clearly what that means.
Okay.
But do you think, you know, elections, you know, like voting things, you know, yeah, town meeting, general elections, primaries, like just, hey, FYI,
Right,
it's here.
just anything.
Yeah.
And since people would like to give us, which again, they asked me, could you send out like, the tax bills like every month? And it's like, no.
Is
You know,
there,
so-
is there a way to like set it automated? So like you
you know,
could
so they want,
on August 1st, or I don't know if it's August 1st, but like August 15th,
right.
September 15th, October, like a monthly
Yes.
reminder.
Yeah,
Right,
there
so
is
that,
function.
yeah, so this would be, yeah, something definitely we would be using like what you were saying for that. And, the election, definitely election, so that, again, you can get more voters, you know, for the town meeting or anything that we have here, taxes.
What about emergency management?
I had a question and you, I let Angela go first and you walked over me. So Jessica and Eric, yeah, I was gonna throw this out here because I was gonna ask what you know, and if you didn't ask this, I don't know how how I would expect you to know the answer, but how do they geofence this to just Cambridge?
You set the geofence. The Cambridge.
Can you set multiple geofences? So
So-
I was gonna go, here's my, yeah, you already know where I'm going with this. So, A, I was thinking, you know, I don't wanna bug anybody else at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if you're gonna throw my name into this or not, but,
No.
flooding roads. So Eric's probably gonna be chatting with me anyway on some of that stuff. But if we have a structure fire in the middle of the night and Williamson Road is closed down, it's such and such an address, is that something that we might be able to get something out on?
Person in California doesn't care, so yeah, you can set.
So the other thing I was thinking was, something that I've dealt a lot with over the last few years is boil water notices in different towns, different villages. Village of Cambridge, and I can geofence the VT alert thing, but I think this might be something that might be a little bit more applicable to everybody in town if that's how we're doing it.
I mean, we work
Is
with
the-
the village.
Yeah, because the active nine, or not the active, the VT alert stuff is only if people sign up for it, which I understand is the same thing here. But if it's something that is a free service, an app on your phone or your computer, email, something like that, another tool in the toolbox is exactly what you said.
can Put a QR code on your tax bill or whatever.
Yeah.
But we could set up categories, right? So like, if you wanted updates on, I don't know what the categories could be, like taxes, elections, highway,
Yeah,
emergencies. I don't know what,
whatever the categories
but if
are.
that person in California wouldn't care about anything other than taxes, right, then they may only check that
Like an
one.
example, the other morning when Plot Road was closed, I probably wouldn't send that town-wide. I would probably keep that limited to the water bill, just, you know, that
Yeah.
northern end of town. Whereas, you know, someone that lives on Williamson Road probably doesn't care that Plot Road's closed. Or doesn't want the phone going off at whatever that happened, to do all of that, and you have those options of, you know, how you want to manage all that.
Yeah.
What, we talked briefly about this last time, but did you guys talk to other towns of who have this?
I spoke to, Jessica spoke to one. I spoke to, Wolkit recently. Started, and I think Coventry did. They both speak highly of it, and you know, it isn't a matter of that. I don't think it's gonna be beneficial. I was looking at it from a strictly a budget perspective, going, where are we gonna pull?
Yeah, and that's
$5,000
kind of what I've been flipping through the book, trying to wrap my brain around too, but.
Yeah, there's nothing but good. And I reached out to other, text outreach software similar to this. They're all within $700 of each other. Functionality changes between each. This one seems to be the best bargain for what you get definitely has the geofencing, a lot of, those are options in a lot of the other programs. So this one is certainly a law for what we're paying.
Oh, we could,
Well, when school closes, how do they get everybody's, is that like you got a kid in school, you have to have a phone
I
number?
don't know, they got my phone number, but they called me like 7 times one day to tell me something was buses were late or something.
It's cell phone, it's text, it's email. I don't know, the last 2 years my kid was in school, I got 4 calls every time school was closed.
Isn't it when they fill out all the forms at the beginning of the
I'm
year?
assuming that's what Christie
I think
put my phone number down, if I guess.
But do you think it's something like this?
I'm just
Likely.
wondering, it's either we could send out, again, you know, a mailing, or if we could just, if we would get this, add something to, when we send out tax bills, you know, so that people would have it, and it would be actually going, so then we wouldn't have to incur another cost.
I'm 110% sold on this.
Because
It's
it
the only
would
piece
be
is,
something we have to send out anyway, the
Yeah.
tax bills, you know, so it's like, it would just be going on with something.
I'm not really that worried about where to find $4,700, because I think we could find it somewhere near.
But could we,
We sent it? No, I think that should be said.
I'm thinking about mailings, things we would normally mail.
Well, just like the tax bills, that will be.
We're
We
still
still
gonna
gotta
have to
mail
send
tax
those,
bills.
yeah.
But I'm thinking like other mailing costs.
This would certainly, how I could think about rationalizing this without having budget in here
Yes.
is, we've been talking about delinquent taxes for the last 3 months and ways to combat it. This is
Okay.
certainly one of the best tools I've heard
Okay.
today about how to economically help encourage.
Help people pay their bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause the cost could be reducing that total amount by that much of delinquent taxes at the end of the year. Cause that is in the time, the wages and time that's hard to quantify, but that Donna, Jessica, and everyone spend on hunting people down.
Yep.
Because you do send out all those mailers December 2nd or whatever it is to all those people, right? For delinquency notices.
Well,
State, yeah.
But we're
we pay for it out of the interest and penalties that we.
I mean, but there's so many people that call, say, I don't have my tax bill,
Thank
no, you know, I never received my tax bill. It's like, you know, why did you, it's like, yeah, we did send it out, but.
Well, that's why they're calling, right?
Yeah, it's
Because they want one.
I know. but
revenue.
And
It's like minus revenue.
yeah, it's gonna help.
But they're also using that as an excuse that they never paid, you know, because they never received.
Banking,
They're not
kind of
asking
messed
for
up
anyone.
because
No,
we're
they're complaining that they
banking
never
on
got it.
interest and
So-
penalties as a revenue source.
Mm-hmm.
So if we don't get to delinquencies, the revenue is not gonna be there. So it's kind of a little catch-22 on that category.
We'll change our budget for next year.
No, I wish we'd thought about this 2 months ago, because I
Yeah.
definitely would have added $4,700 to the budget without a question. I don't know that I am not that concerned about it. I've been a stickler about smaller items than this in the past,
Well,
but I
look at
think
it
the
as-
time savings could be tremendous.
Yeah, I think convenience factors for me would be marvelous, and a lot of what he's gonna do, it's gonna be great, and there could be some other things in there too. But I'm thinking about the information that can go out there a lot more cost effectively. I hate to say more with that statement, but if we can get that out to decrease that big number that we've wanted to do while we're doing it, then I think it's definitely beneficial.
And this is where we could also, you know, when people call, we could also say, have you signed up for this? Would you like
Encourage
to
it.
sign up for this?
Encourage it,
Absolutely.
push it hard. And it's likely, you know, if we do decide to do this, it's gonna require a big pump out of, hey, this is new.
Mhm.
You wanna hear what's going on?
Do it, yeah.
Yeah, please.
This is pretty standard with like all types of places, doctor's offices, like cell phone carriers. I mean,
Yeah.
everything.
that's true.
People will get on board with it fast. I mean,
The city of Lebanon, I'm working for in New Hampshire, they have this, cause I have to give them a weekly alert so that they can pump it out to send out for road updates, so.
and like Jessica said, people are more apt to involve themselves if there's not necessarily information from somebody.
I think this will pay for itself in delinquencies, honestly. I guess we could have a motion. I don't know where I would necessarily pull this from if we decide to go for it, but I guess I would put it under select or something rather.
Well, there's that, or there's Fund 13, which is the town building.
Thought of that as another one, but I didn't.
Oh,
wasn't
that's
sure
a good-
It's not really a town building,
I,
but,
Well, it's the maintenance of it.
well,
I-
really, but.
I think I would live with the consequences that are coming out of the general budget, and it could probably be a select board. I mean, you could throw it in miscellaneous.
Not to add that for this year.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't honestly care. I was thinking they were advertising. I mean, whatever it is, it's gonna be slightly over budget, and we'll just have to remember when the 15 times I ask you this fall, why is this item over budget? Yeah.
So another option would be to create a line item that is like says what it is.
I knew you were here for a reason.
I like
Jessica.
that idea
That's
too. Yes.
So I don't necessarily
How to
care.
outreach to whatever, yeah.
Yeah, I don't care what it's under, select board, town clerk, town hall, it could go under most any of those, it's gonna get used.
I don't
so-
think it should go under select board. Because
Well, it's a
we're not the
shared-
one
It's
using
a
it.
shared thing.
It's a shared. Yeah,
Yeah,
cause it'll be used by highway. Town administrator, potentially EMD, town clerk, so,
Highway's probably gonna use it,
well, I mean,
it's just as much as the town clerk.
Yeah.
So,
uh,
or depending on the weather.
so there'd be a motion in order to approve, or to go with this GoGov. Product in the amount of $4,700. For an annual amount, $4,700.
So moved.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
So it says the initial subscription period would start on 7/1. Was that,
That's just a boilerplate.
okay? I guess I didn't really ask what the implementation period would be, or do you know yet?
We have to go through the training on how to operate
Yeah,
so I think that was a 30-day thing.
it's
What I-
probably relatively good that it would expire roughly this time next year,
Yeah.
just after the budget's approved, honestly.
Yeah, when I spoke with when I did my demo, I mean, I asked about implementation and he said, you wanna give yourself 90 days to get up to speed and get like friendly with how everything works, so. If we did this, say for April 1, I mean, it'd be roughly July before we're good,
It's fine.
you know. I'm not saying we wouldn't have things out before then, but I think it'd be that long before we got used to how it worked and got this program started and got all the geo fences and
I'm-
things like that set up.
I think that's fine.
So I had reached out to just see because the original quote that I got was $4,700, and I reached out just to see if there would be a discount for like maybe our first year or something. And that's why they pushed it out to 7/1 as being when we would owe our payment, because they were quote unquote giving us 3 months free is what they were saying. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where that came from.
Well, and I guess, it wouldn't necessarily follow our budget cycle for this year, so it's not 4,700, it's 47 divided by 12 times 6. Yeah, so. Yeah, it's a little less than $4,700 for this fiscal year.
But, yeah,
so you'll put a line item under town hall office building?
probably town clerk.
Or select, but I don't
Select
select.
board.
where.
But it has all sorts of things, you're like,
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
okay,
It would just be text subscription or something, whatever you wanna call
well,
it.
they have copier on here and IT mitigate, migration, they've got a lot of things that would,
No, I think we're gonna create a new line item, so. it's-
Agree, yeah.
Yeah,
but
specific to
I
this,
would put it under that one.
okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Promising, so. Just to really do something, so. They haven't met in a long time, they've only got 3 current members, so they don't even have a quorum. Sorry, there'd be a motion in order to dissolve the town meeting advisory ad hoc committee.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Danny, all 3 members said that they were good with that. So all those in favor of dissolving the committee signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
This was your way of ensuring that I had one more duty on that list. You, just like you said out last week.
Listen, my methods are my methods.
See, there you go.
Consent agenda. There is. Just look at the agenda. 2 liquor cannabis, 2 liquor licenses. We probably wanna pull, actually, the minutes aren't even on there, perfect, never mind. We'll do the minutes next time.
Yeah, I didn't have the,
Yep,
I-
no, sorry.
I dropped the ball on that one.
We talked about it earlier.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Is there a second
Second.
discussion? I didn't have any questions. How, I guess, I see a couple salt invoices. How is the shed doing salt wise?
We're good for the winter, I would,
Yeah.
hope.
We're good to finish up this season.
We'll
talk again in December.
how close did it ever get to being empty?
Very.
Very close.
Yeah, okay. I see the piles, the sand is so.
Yeah, we used everything out of our
Stockpile, yeah, or reserve stock.
yeah,
Well, that's all done.
most of it. Not all of it, but
Not enough to say so.
yeah, there's not much up there. 300-400 yards maybe.
But we did literally run out of salt for what?
We never ran
ran
it
out.
out.
Did?
But
Yeah, all right,
we
I
had to
thought
come
we went
back.
through 3 days, but
We had to get skinny for a while, but
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, abstained, motion carried. Agendas, oh, sorry, other business, I have no other business. Agenda for next time. We have a special select board meeting a week from today.
Yep, which we don't need to be in person for unless you're downstairs and want to run upstairs. for a
I will
minute.
be in person.
Yeah, me
It
too.
doesn't need to be any specific time. So I just need, it's literally just so I can present the results of a bid for our demo projects. And we're under a tighter deadline and I can't wait until the.
What time are they due that day?
2 o'clock.
So basically anytime after.
Anytime after 2, or we do Wednesday if we absolutely had to.
Generally Tuesdays still work for me because I've already got it budgeted for this.
Yep.
So I'm relatively flexible. I have a meeting at 3:30.
You just wanna do a quick one at 6:30. That way it's the same time for everyone and we don't have to.
Higher likelihood we'll all be here.
I guess I was saying I could Teams in earlier if I had to, but.
Yeah. I mean, what's working? Really would be fine with me, but it
I don't
depends.
get done until 5.
You get done at 5.
I'm fine with whatever that day.
What do you think?
I'll be here at 5 if you tell me
I'm
to be.
open whenever.
Yeah.
Well, early, I gotta drive back from Boston, but, or I could Teams in on my drive home, but
You just wanna do 6:30, does that work for everyone? It's just gonna be a quick,
yeah,
I'll send you a link, just log in real quick and.
Yeah.
Or call in. Okay.
Yep,
But can we come here?
yes.
Will you be?
It's one.
Not today.
Oh, okay, okay. So we can't come here.
You can, I
You
mean,
can,
if you
Well,
really want to.
is anybody else gonna be here?
I'll be,
I'll
I
have
was
to be
probably
here.
gonna be here.
Okay,
I'll have to be here.
6:30?
sorry. Okay. And that's next week?
just,
Is that April? That's not April.
March 24th.
324.
Thank you. But April 7th is our next meeting.
Official.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
April
Right,
7th.
regular,
Regular.
regular.
It's my grandson's birthday. That's why it just hit me.
Is this the same for a, oops, I'm looking, oh, no. April 7th, is this the same one you sent me?
I sent you an updated one from the packet
That's one more.
because I added some to it.
Okay, amazing.
The only thing I added
You wanna
was
see it?
the Vorman property thing,
What's that deal?
for the wellhead easement discussion, management plan review,
Who's Wellhead?
Cambridge Village.
Oh. And
In,
I'm
in
vaguely,
reference to the purchase is,
okay, this is the subject you and I exchanged an email about, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember what's down yet. My recollection was it's not needed for a little while, is what I thought I remembered.
This part is a step to get to the closing.
Okay,
So it's an interim step before they finish the management plan to put into the closing. So
okay,
that's why I put it in now, so we can.
but it's required. Cause I guess my thought was if the trails were on that village property,
Yep,
that's when the easement would be required.
correct.
But if there are no trails in the purchase shown, then it could be done
Yeah.
later is what I was thinking.
Yeah, land trust is pushing to have this
Okay.
management plan in place.
Is the discussion here to send something to Jim for review? Or,
The discussion here, I believe is for us to approve. I think Jim has already seen it, but don't,
Okay.
well, but don't hold me to it.
so there's a plan already established, written.
I have seen a draft. I have not seen the easement discussion prior.
So as far our understanding is that that will come that night.
That's correct, yeah. Okay, I would have, I'd ask.
Are we available? Can we see the plan before the packet comes out? Is it a?
Yeah.
Just,
did, I'm trying to remember, I guess if they're my committee now, but did Sam ask to do an update for lot? Is that part of the?
Yeah,
You wanted to do that
Okay.
tonight, right?
So that's right,
We pushed it,
okay.
yeah, yes, because you pushed them off.
Yes, no, right here, I have it in my notes, but just blow it to April. Okay, I have not heard back from April Tuck on the public funds thing. I'm still working with her on that.
I have that penciled in for the second meeting in
Yep,
April.
that's fine. CFD training, I'm sorry, oops, skipping down. Town's Highway 60/90.
What's
It's one of those I have.
90 is Notchview, which is up near the Bruce. Lot 6,
Notch View,
Notchview Road,
okay.
before Smugs,
Oh,
That side.
no, that's 108, old 108.
before Lot 6.
Okay, alright,
There's a road that shoots out there, and then 60 was the Pratt Road.
Yep.
Extension, for
Yep.
lack of a better word. So I'm bringing both of them in at the same time and have a,
and and it's the residents on those roads, I take it?
Yeah.
And what are their questions?
they want to declassify
Okay,
either well, they want to declassify it completely. 90 is still a soft question mark, but 60 is a hard, they wanna do it.
and 60s Pratt Road.
Pratt Road, yeah.
And so their ask is whether the select board wants to do it voluntarily as opposed to going and getting petition.
Correct.
And we already decided, or no,
We did decide
I
that.
thought we decided.
We did. And you were very clear on it.
On 60 we did, but
Yeah.
then Trails Committee went and talked to him and other people went and talked to him. And there was a bunch of, there was too many hands in the cookie jar, so to speak,
Mhm.
and it created a bunch of confusion,
Mhm.
so we need to have the discussion again.
The petition is 5%?
5% of the voters.
Yes,
How many is that roughly?
125,
160.
160.
You convinced me.
Down to him.
160?
160 roughly, yeah, within.
I don't even know 160 people.
Yeah, you do. Sorry,
Yeah.
but you do.
Yeah.
Not enough to.
Or
go
maybe they
ask
know
and
you.
Have them sign my paper.
Yeah.
But if we already made a decision and they stirred the pot,
It's not them that stirred the pot. It is a Cambridge elected officials and appointed officials who may have caused some confusion.
you're
So
so polite.
I'm trying to,
You're so good at it. Okay, so there's some confusion.
yes, and there may have been some,
Have they, is this request just verbal or did they send something?
yes, it's verbal. I don't have any email exchanges.
All right. How many homeowners are on 90?
One.
All right, I think I picture the road now, but
It's the one with the yurts and
Yeah.
the school bus and
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm picturing the right one then.
Yep, that's the one.
Okay,
And that one I'm gonna confirm before I do this to make sure he's still on board, but
yeah,
it was a
all right, we
conversation.
got a couple weeks.
Yeah.
To stew on this. The next one, I did talk with Darren on the way here. I need to look back at what we talked about. So basically, he told me he has no issues with any of Jim's comments, essentially. They want to move forward with it and they're happy to do that. I need to look back at what the actual motion was. The motion was to approve it. And I think it was authorizing me to handle this lease deal with Jim Barlow. I think is how I recall that.
That's how I remember, but I thought Jim,
So Jim hated Darren's. And it was very apparent. And Darren was like, I'm not offended. I just Googled one and like threw it together. And so Jim offered to basically use a lease he was comfortable with. But
Can
then
you
there
give
was
us a
like,
little detail of what you're talking about?
I'm sorry, yes,
She wasn't here.
that's a very valid ask.
Thank you.
So Cambridge Fire Department
Interesting.
asked the previous select board whether they could put a training facility up in the town pit.
Okay, on
But it would
Stebbins
be
Road.
enough of an investment, like, they're gonna build some type of structure to do the training in. They don't wanna do that if a future board or something just says, nope, rip it out, get rid of it. And so they wanted something in writing that kind of committed that space to be used for a period of time. And I think we all kind of generally agreed that, yes, we're fine with putting in writing. We get your concern and it's fine, like, it's a big empty lot up there, basically.
And the number of years we talked about was 20
For
for the use
striking
of that
deal
space.
for $1 a year. Jim's comments was, well, 20-year lease is essentially selling town land, which requires several other steps of public notifications and whatnot. And was concerned that, yes, it's $1. However, a lease for 20 years is effectively kind of selling the land for a 20-year period. So it's a, it's a little bit of a weird spot.
We were too casual is what he said.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm trying, I can't find his email for what he gave me his comments, but, so he had a few other concerns, but basically he said it's not undoable. And basically Darren said, no, we want this in writing, so if this is what he recommends, we're fine with it. I think there was a note in there about wanting to, Jim wanted the select board to still have the ability to basically withdraw out of the agreement for whatever, if the fire department's up there, making a mess of things.
Creating havoc, yeah.
That we could still have a way to out. Darren was fine with that, but he's like, we don't want it to be like, get me out of there in 7 days type of thing, that a reasonable amount of time to withdraw their stuff out of the place. And he said he would be generally good with that. Darren stated a year. I don't know what Jim would think about that, but,
I think he's doing us a big favor, Jim Barlow, by doing this, because I think having a fire thing next to that one house that's through the woods quite close, it could be a problem.
yeah, so they give, and I could forward this to you all, his comments, but, I guess my point of discussing it at this point was whether it warranted another select board agenda item. And I wasn't sure, and I need to do some more digging on it.
Okay.
Because if it still falls within the scope of the approval, the authorization you all gave me,
I see.
the previous board gave me, then
Well,
we don't need to necessarily
Well,
waste our time.
are you gonna write something else up though? Cause Jim he gave his bullet points at his reaction,
Right.
so.
In his stead, he said he'd be happy to prepare a revised draft that incorporates these protections, if that'd be helpful.
Yeah.
And I haven't told him whether to do that or not, because I didn't know if any of these were deal breakers for Darren and the fire department.
Okay.
And if it was, there was no point in paying Jim to draft it. But it sounds like now that Darren's okay, as long as there's, some caveats there that are
Sure.
reasonable, a middle ground, so to speak, so.
Did you forward that email to Darren?
I did.
I think that's a good
May
idea.
not have forwarded it to you all, but I will do
Okay.
that right now.
So his plan, what he presented to us was they would build a sort of a platform, and then they would put,
Smoke in it.
well, they would then get some
Connex boxes,
Onyx boxes,
storage
Shipping
boxes.
container.
shipping containers.
Yeah.
And they would make it like a house, and then they would train their fire people how to get in, get out.
Keepers out.
And they would do it quite often, twice a month, he said.
It's good.
2 to 3 trainings a month
Yeah.
we have, but
But there's one house through the woods that's quite close, that's like,
I have a couple other items depending on how much else comes up. Business park scoping study, I'd like to put that on the list. And then, yeah, if I get the info from the public funds before then, we could have that. If not, it gets plenty. And at some point, we do need to talk to the Trails Committee about the Greenway Path and their update, and I put late April on this.
Yeah, I have that one penciled in
Okay.
for the next second one too.
All right, any other items for next time?
Sounds like enough already.
Yeah. So that would be a motion to move into executive session.
All of them?
Who do you want to come in, Eric, for that first initial?
I think everyone here,
Okay.
Yeah.
So with Eric, Justin, Jessica, and Donna coming into the executive session. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Seconded.
discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed,
Hold
abstained.
on. Shut off.
We'll go into executive session at 9 even. It's not on there. Need to reconnect here or something.
Should be good, right?
So